So I started making eggnog for the holidays, and when I started making them with all these different kinds of flavors and mushrooms and all, you didn't really want to call it an eggnog anymore. It was really more of a milkshake. It's something that you wanted to serve year-round. I didn't want it to just be kind of reserved for the holidays. So I wanted to get more creative with them, but I also just think they're fantastic on their own. Now, this is an eggnog recipe, and it is based on Dale DeGroff's eggnog recipe, which is real simple. It's just a bourbon or rye, or you could use rum. You can really use anything you want, with heavy cream egg and then a honey syrup or an agave syrup. And what I've done over the years is just infuse the creams. I've infused the alcohols, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to make one. This is actually also from my book, Eat Your Drink, but it's a candy cap mushroom infused eggnog, or I like to call it an umami milkshake. Okay, so the first ingredient is using candy cap mushrooms. Now, I love mushrooms. I'm obsessed with mushrooms. But most mushrooms, I would say 99% of mushrooms that are dried have no flavor. But the candy cap mushroom, which is only in season for 2 weeks, and they were discovered in Marin County about 25 years ago. And what's unique about the candy cap mushroom, and here they are dried, you will not believe the smell and taste of these. But when these are dried, they give off the amino acid of like maple syrup and burnt sugar. And there are years that we've had in the last few years that they haven't really yielded a lot, because they are a mushroom that hasn't been able to be cultivated yet, as far as I know. So that means it's only in the wild. But it's very expensive. It's about $300 a pound. But all you guys need out there is 1 ounce. $16, $20. You can grab an ounce online on Etsy, any of these places you can find it. And what I do is I typically, and this is obviously I've used a bunch of it, but I usually take 1 ounce to 1 bottle of bourbon or rye or dark rum, and I infuse it 7 to 10 days. You're never going to over infuse this as well. But what you're going to get is this incredible buttery maple syrup flavor. And what people will never believe or understand is that that's coming from mushrooms. So when someone says they don't like mushrooms, they've never had candy cap mushrooms. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we'll take a whole egg. You're going to put the whole egg in there. So I'll crack the egg in there. Okay. And I actually like using the flavor profile of a honey syrup as opposed to an agave syrup. So this is just a sage blossom honey. You can use any kind of honey. A darker, richer honey would be really good. This is a 2-to-1 ratio of honey to water. So basically what I'm going to do, or what you need to do, you just take one of these pots here, put 2 cups of honey to 1 cup of water. If you want to make it rich, a 3-to-1 ratio of honey to water is really fantastic as well. But we're going to put 1 ounce of that syrup in there, okay? So we'll put 1 ounce of the honey syrup. And then you're going to use heavy cream. So the same amount of heavy cream to the bourbon. So we're going to use 2 ounces. This is an organic heavy cream. You just need to get it in the pint. It's going to be 2 ounces of heavy cream. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of candy cap mushroom bourbon. Okay. And that is it. That's the whole recipe right there. Okay. Now, where you can have fun with this, and where I like to have fun with this, and where you can get creative, is how you're going to serve it, right? Now, I do have a video on here where I make a deviled emu egg. We're going to do a scrambled emu egg. I love using emu eggs. I love using the yolk. Sometimes I'll use the actual yolk of the emu egg. It's a huge yolk for extra richness. But a lot of times it also is an amazing vessel. So this is a hollowed out emu egg. Look how beautiful that is, right? The way that you would hollow this out is you take a drill. This is what you do. This is how they do eggs as well, is you'll drill it, a hole in the top of it, and you'll literally just let all that yolk, now, you know, no one wastes it. You take that yolk out in the the whites and all that and you make scrambled eggs, but you'll let that literally come all the way out and then you let that dry and now you have a hollow egg. But what I love to do is actually use this as a glass. So I'll take that and I only want to chip off enough to really drink, right? Because I'm going to show you something here. You got to be careful of shells and stuff like that, flying like that. But what I'll do is I'll clear just enough on the top to put ice in. And now look, you can use anything. Now an emu I've talked about under this section too. It is the second largest bird in the world. It's indigenous to Australia. And I happen to have a bird's nest here. Now, you can get a real bird's nest if you want, but most of those, you go into like some kind of garden store or thing like that, they have these really cool bird's nests that they make out of straw. And I just want to sit that on top of that. So there's pretty much, that's the cocktail. And then what makes this fun is getting like a long straw that we're going to use this as a straw. And see how that can rest there? So now we're going to build the cocktail. I'll build the ice in it and all that. And then we'll have a nice straw. And then what happens, you have a spoon if you want to eat the ice or things like that at the end. So what I'll do is I'm going to fill ice up in there. Let's get a nice amount of ice in there. I'm also going to grab some dark chocolate because we can definitely squeeze that on top, or get that on top because that would be great. Okay, and then let's get the flavor of this in here now. And let's give it a nice shake, okay? So again, even though I put an egg in there, you don't have to double shake it. There's enough density in there with the yolk. I don't feel like you really have to double shake it like you would egg whites. Let's get that nice seal in there. String that into there. And see, you almost, it even has, because of that yolk in there, it has that eggnoggy color, right? Try to make sure that that's pretty stable. All right, I'm gonna get this in there. This is the perfect spoon and lean it up there. Oh, does that look great? And then let's just shave a little bit of the dark chocolate to bring that flavor out. This is a dark 92%. And there you go. This is the umami milkshake served in an emu egg. I'm going to dip down and take a sip, okay? It is the ultimate milkshake. It's got enough, and I actually used a high proof bourbon in there. So it's a little bit higher percent, so I'm still tasting the alcohol. You've got that maple syrup flavor. It's creamy, but what I like about it too, it's thin. It's not like a thick eggnog, so I don't want you to think eggnog. It really is creamy, sweet, and delicious. So again, you don't have to have an emu egg. You can serve it in a regular glass, of course, but I think it's essential to put the dark chocolate. Again, have fun. Infuse the bourbon with whatever you want, but it might be nice to just make it, make it straight the first time. So good luck and enjoy.